Have you ever watched your whole world crumble through the cold, digital glow of a hidden camera feed? I have. The night everything broke was a Tuesday, the air thick with the scent of rain and betrayal. I was parked in my car a block away from my own home on North Clark Street in Chicago, the dashboard lights casting a sickly green pallor on my face. On my phone, I watched a live feed from a tiny camera I'd hidden in our bedroom, a desperate, last-ditch effort to silence the screaming doubts in my head. But it didn't silence them. It gave them a voice, a face, and a name. The sight of my wife, Sarah, wrapping her arms around another man in the sanctuary of our home was just a crack in my heart. It was a seismic shatter. And in that moment, watching them, I knew that forgetting wasn't an option. Only revenge would do. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. For 10 years, Sarah was my everything. We built a life together in a brownstone we couldn't afford, laughed until we cried over cheap wine, and held each other through every storm. I thought we were invincible. But the storm that was coming wasn't one we could face together because she was the one brewing it. It started subtly. A new password on her phone, which she'd guard like a state secret. Late nights at the office that became more frequent, her excuses paper-thin. I'd call her, and the phone would ring out, only for her to text me an hour later. Sorry, battery died. The woman I married, the one who'd look me in the eyes and tell me she loved me, was becoming a stranger. Her warmth had been replaced by a chilling indifference, her laughter now a hollow echo. When I tried to talk to her, to bridge the growing chasm between us, she'd turn it on me. "Why are you so insecure, Alex?" she'd ask, her voice dripping with a manipulative sweetness that made my skin crawl. "Don't you trust me?" She and her lover, a smug real estate developer named Mark I'd met at her company's holiday party, felt untouchable. They'd exchanged knowing glances, their arrogance a suffocating cloud. I felt small, humiliated, a ghost in my own life. One night I found a receipt for a dinner I knew I wasn't at: 2 entrees, 2 glasses of champagne at a fancy Italian place downtown. The date on it was a night she was supposedly working late. That was the night I broke. The image of her laughing with him, their hands touching across the table, shattered me into a million pieces. I sat on the floor of our closet, the receipt trembling in my hand, and I wept. Not just for the love I had lost, but for the fool I had become. But as the tears dried, something else took root in the ruins of my heart. A cold, hard resolve. The breakdown was over. It was time to build. My grief turned into fuel. I wasn't just going to leave. I was going to dismantle the life she had so carelessly built on my trust. I became a strategist, a ghost in the machine of our marriage. I hired a private investigator, a grizzled ex-cop who knew the city's secrets better than anyone. While Sarah was out on her late nights, we were gathering evidence. Photos of her and Mark leaving a boutique hotel on the Gold Coast. Credit card statements that painted a vivid picture of their affair. And the hidden camera's tiny, discreet lenses that captured everything. Whispers, the kisses, the promises they made to each other in the bed we once shared. Every piece of footage was a dagger in my heart, but it was also a nail in her coffin. I opened a new bank account, slowly and methodically moving my assets. I met with the best divorce attorney in Chicago, a shark in a tailored suit, and laid out my plan. We weren't just filing for divorce, we were preparing for war. The trap was set. All that was left was to spring it. The occasion was her parents' 40th anniversary party, a grand affair at a lavish hotel overlooking Lake Michigan. Her entire family, all our friends, her colleagues, everyone was there. She stood at the front of the room giving a toast to her parents about the sanctity of marriage and lifelong commitment. The hypocrisy so thick you could cut it with a knife. She looked radiant, untouchable. That was her mistake. As she finished her speech to a round of applause, the 2 large screens on either side of the stage, which had been displaying a slideshow of her parents, flickered to life. Her smile froze. On the screens for everyone to see was a highlight reel of her affair. The hotel check-ins, the intimate dinners, and the damning footage from our bedroom. A collective gasp sucked the air out of the room. The silence was deafening, broken only by the sound of her mother's sob. Sarah's face, once a mask of arrogant beauty, crumbled. Her eyes darted around the room, searching for an escape, but there was none. She was exposed, stripped bare in front of everyone she knew. Mark, her brave lover, had already slipped out a side door like the coward he was. The next day, the legal assault began. The evidence was irrefutable. The court sided with me on every count. She lost the house, her savings, and any claim to my future earnings. Her company, embarrassed by the scandal, fired her. Her friends abandoned her. Her family, ashamed and heartbroken, turned their backs. She was left with nothing but the consequences of her choices. I never saw her again after the final court date. Sometimes I hear whispers about her, that she moved to a different state, working a menial job, a shadow of the woman she once was. The revenge was total, the victory absolute, but it rings hollow. I won, but what I lost can never be replaced. The silence in my house is a constant reminder of the life that was stolen from me, and the man I had to become to reclaim it. I sleep on my side of the bed now, out of habit.